Hello everyone, I'm again with you. I'm Hamroyeva Sharifa Dealing, a teacher of Bucharest State University, the Department of English Literature and Stylistics. So today we are going to discuss dealing with the disruptive students. So it is the topic of the subject lesson planning. So when you teach, you always come across with students who have some problems or who have some disruptive manners. In this session, we're going to discuss how to deal with disruptive students. So, first of all, let's talk about two types of problems to students. The first type is students with problems, and the second type is students as a problems or disruptive students. So students with problems, what kind of problems do students bring with them to a classroom, and how it affects the learning of our students? So it can be the problem with their study, the problem with financial problems, and some parental problems, or some teenage problems like behaving in a different manner, and of course with their manners, with their character. Students as a problems or disruptive students. What kind of problems can students cause for teachers in our classroom? So, classroom incivilities, most disturbing of classroom incivilities, students' conversation, students who make sarcastic or critical comments, and students who have emotional and unpredictable outbursts. So the most disruptive students' behaviors, according to the Colorado State University business faculty and students, they were given several behaviors in terms of faculty perspective and in terms of students' perspective. They were given several factors like side conversation according to faculty and student, and in terms of faculty arriving late and leaving early, and according to in terms of students' perspective, cell phone issues, or group project issues, over-the-top participators, inappropriate laptop use, food issues, unprepared for class. In terms of faculty perspectives, there can be inappropriate laptop use, cell phone issues, newspapers, sleeping in class, or failure to prepare for the class. What's the relationship between students with problems and students who create problems? Let's differentiate it. Students' problems may become class problems, and class problems may create student problems. What's your responsibility for dealing with students who have problems? Firstly, you should be a listener and source of referral. Campus and community resources for students who have problems, they are considered as a student's health center, counseling center, clinical, financial aid, students' legal assistant, international program services, women's center. And what's the responsibility for dealing with students who create problems in the classroom? As a teacher, you can prevent their problems from affecting your class or you. Or you can intervene to stop to prevent further class problems. Why should you respond to disruptive students? Why do we need it? Class disruptions affect you, the other students in the class as well. And class disruptions sometimes reflect underlying classroom problems. You should find out about it. And class disruption or responses to class disruption may lead to frustration or anger in the student, their peers, or the instructor. So, what do you think? What's the source of classroom incivilities? The first source is students' dislike of class or a teacher. And the next one, students-teacher disrespect of each other. Teachers' alienation of students through poor teaching strategies, and teachers who fail to deal with class disruptions. This I consider it as the sources of the classroom incivilities. So we can say, in other words, teachers can prevent or reduce classroom incivilities by changing their own behaviors. And what are the strategies to prevent classroom disruption? The first one, place all of your important class rules in your syllabus. Violations should have stated consequences. Model respect and interest in students. You should learn names, begin and end class on time, engage the students and use positive motivators, and you should also involve students in a discussion of the class expectation. And I can say that they are good strategies to prevent the class disruption. And the other parts can be, you should pay attention to your class dynamics, body language, commands, grades, and adjust class activities accordingly. And you should change to your syllabus, to your routine every time. You should say that, is the material difficult? Do students need a break? Or are you moving too quickly? The next part, it is respond to minor disruptive quickly and politely by reminding students of class rules. So, strategies to intervene with students who are disruptors. For this reason, you should be timely and choose a response that's student-friendly and be fair. So, according to McKean or Swinicky, don't duck controversy, and you should listen and get students to listen to one another, and keep your cool. Paraphrase, question, and summarize. Talk to colleague and ask what they do, as they are considered other intervention strategies. And you should also remember that your problem, students are human beings as well. And you should treat them according to as a human beings, not only as your students or learners. For example, as in order to be clear, I have prepared a scenario for you. The first scenario, it is 2 or 3 students in your class seem to enjoy talking to each other more than listening to you. You asked them once to pay attention, but the next day they went back to their private conversation. Some of the students who sit near them appeared to be bothered by distraction, but others act like they enjoy conversation. You're afraid you're losing control of the part of the classroom. In this case, in this kind of student disruption or class disruption, what you should do, and the strategies that we mentioned about can be a good solution for this scenario. The next scenario, it is, you believe that arriving late to class is a sign of disrespect to a teacher or to the other students. It's also very distracting. Every day, at least 5 students arrive late to your large introductory class. So far, you haven't said anything to late arrivals. And when you feel confronted or threatened, you don't have to put up with threatening or rude behavior just because you are a teaching assistant. That's why you should keep your cool. Do not engage in a heated debate with students during or after class. Humor or active listening can often diffuse situations. And if you cannot diffuse the situation, arrange to meet with the students later in your office in order to solve the problems. And be sure a third party is available to sit in on that meeting. If you are worried about your immediate safety or other safety, call the authority of your school. When you should talk to your supervisor or department chair. So before the problem becomes a serious, after exchange with a student, and anytime you need advice on how to deal with disruptive student. So reminders. Students may be disrupted because of personal issues or classroom or teaching dynamics. Teachers can and should respond to disruptive students. It's easier to prevent class disruptions than to intervene once they have begun. Teachers can prevent to reduce class disruptions through their syllabus or changing their own classroom interaction. And the last one is teachers can intervene to prevent further classroom disruption by being timely and student-friendly and fair. So as a conclusion, students, I can say that when you start your teaching sphere, teaching job, you may face with such kind of disruptive students, and the strategies that we discussed above can be one of the handy tools to cope with this problem. So good day of the day. Thank you. Goodbye.